And hello again, Warriors fans. I am Scott Warras. We continue with our fall sports season previews. Women's tennis preview. Entering its third full season, fourth if you want to count it. We can debate that. We were off the air, actually. Jay Massart. Jay, good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Scott.
Before we get into it, what did you do on your summer vacation? Of all the coaches I've spoken to, you may have had one of the more interesting, active, busy summers, and they all are.
Right, exactly right. I sold a house, moved to Wauwatosa, and had a daughter get married. A lot going on in the summer, so
I'd say.
It was busy.
Did you get a chance to play?
I taught a lot.
Taught a lot.
I did
Played
coach a lot this summer.
Okay.
Played a little bit, but at my age, I don't play that much. It's more of hitting with all the players, but
Sure.
yeah, hitting's not a problem.
What re-energizes you? You've been at this over 4 decades as a coach. What re-energizes you year after year, every fall, as we talk here collegiately at WLC? What kind of gets the blood pumping here as we set off on another campaign?
Yeah, I think it's just, once we start that preseason with
Yeah.
the girls, you start seeing everybody again and you kind of get back to it and start practicing and doing all the team building things. You just kind of get that energy, and probably a big part of it is with everything I do, whether it's these girls or the other kids I work with. They're all 20 years under, 10 to 20 years old, in that age, and so they've got so much energy and exuberance. It's kind of nice.
How have you found trying to connect, and this is something I've talked about with all the coaches here at WLC at one point in time, trying to connect with 18 to 22-year-olds. It's different now even than it was like 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago or so. What are the ways you try to do that, to try to really, reach young women in this case and make that connection and be an even better coach?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's one of the things that I've never had a problem doing. I've always, maybe always because I've always kind of been a big kid or something, but it's just a little easy. It's just easy to connect with juniors and young adults like that. Like I said, they're interesting. They have so much to offer, and it's different now. Connecting and communicating. Maybe two different things, but as far as the communicating goes, that is a struggle. They all text so easily, and I don't, and I've got the one finger going, and they rattle through stuff. So that's a little bit harder from my end. But the connection has never been a problem. I've always been pretty good at getting my message across and listening to the kids, and I think if you can do those two things, you're always okay.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, regardless of communication styles, over time. Let's talk about the 2024 women's tennis program here at WLC. You've had a good deal of turnover from last year, which was a very successful, 7-2 conference campaign, getting to the semifinals of the conference tournament. It's a bit of a youth movement right now, and you've had to maybe kind of recalibrate a little bit expectations and whatnot. 30,000-foot view before we get into some of the personnel news and notes. What is your approach with this year's team?
I think this year's team's exciting. I think they're young. They have a lot to learn probably. Like you say, we've had 3 seasons of making the semifinals in both the men's and the women's. So WLC has been used to success on the tennis aspect of it. So this will be a little bit of a transition. We've got 4 new freshmen that are coming in. They're all pretty good, but they all have a lot to learn as far as college tennis goes. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge. Replacing when you lose as many as we do in 1 year. Some juniors that left because they were planned to leave, and other seniors that left. It'll be challenging, that's for sure.
What specifically? Because we were talking off the air a little bit, and you have been in different situations, I imagine, in your coaching career. To where do you go and maybe hearken back to a situation here or elsewhere, or an athlete you coached, and maybe reach into your bag of tricks and pull out different coaching and motivational tactics for young people? What specifically might you do?
Yeah, it's going to change this year, and I think you always, I think that, I talked to my wife the other day. I said, that's kind of what makes a good coach, and we can all coach the superstar teams, and that's a little bit different, but those are easy for the most part to do. But it's situations like this, I think, that you have You have to be innovative. You have to think outside the box. You have to play around maybe with the lineup a little bit more than you have. And more than anything, every player's got to get better. I mean, every player's always got to get better. But in our situation, players really have to improve. And so I look at it more of like, oh, this is a real challenge. I've been at this a long time. This will see if, this will kind of test me to see if I still have it, so to speak, as far as the coaching goes. And that's kind of exciting.
When you had these players in camp over the last week or so, couple weeks, do you spend time kind of assessing where they are? I mean, I know you know them and their game. It's not like you have never seen them before and they just step on campus for the first time. Right. But do you kind of do some assessing and deciding, okay, I have to maybe focus on this part of her game or that part of her game and whatnot?
Absolutely. I think that's the first thing. You get the team in, you assess them, you assess where you think they fall in the lineup. Then you take it more personal and then you say, or individual, and you say, okay, what does this player have to work with? And then you sit down with them and you express what you think they have to work with and how you're going to go about trying to get that improvement from them. So the buy-in from them is important as well.
That's a good point. Allie Schmidt is your lone senior on the roster. She's slated maybe to be your number one out of Germantown. Other side of the coin, a veteran like Allie, asking more of her, certainly maybe on and off the court. What is it that you've spoken to Allie about, and where do you want her game to go?
Yeah, well, Allie's a great athlete, and I think she's was pushing number one for the last couple of years. For her to play number one, I spoke with Allie. I know that's very important to her. She will play number one. She's the best player in the team, and second of all, as a senior, I was really, really pleasantly, not surprised, but thrilled. Allie just took the role of leadership on the team that first week we were there and really kind of stepped it up as far as that goes. And of course, that's what you want, especially when there's quite a bit of a gap between Allie and the younger players on our team. So,
what type of leader is she?
She's quiet.
Okay.
She kind of leads by her actions, but she's just a great kid, and everything she does, she always seems to do the right thing, and that's important.
Mm-hmm. Two other returners then, Maddie Olson, Desiree Pugh. Give us a little thumbnail on some of the expectations and how you expect those two ladies to take their game.
Yeah, well, Maddie was part of, Maddie was number 6 last year of a strong conference team, and I wouldn't be surprised if Maddie ends up being the number 2 player, number 3 player this year. I expect a lot out of Maddie too. She may step in and play doubles with Allie. She again is a little more on the quiet side, but through the first couple weeks has really shown herself, to be a good leader, and I'm looking forward to it. She's a great kid. Mm-hmm. Desiree, commuting from Exonia, so she's got a long commute every day, but she has made the sacrifice and committed herself to doing it. So she's definitely going to have a spot in the top, in the top 6 of the lineup.
Well, again, we were also talking off air about you guys right now have been going, what, out 6:30, right, in the morning.
Yeah.
So Exonia making a trek in from the western part, as it were, of the area to make those 6:30 practices. Again, that even for fans who've never met her, gives everybody at home a little insight into how she's wired.
Absolutely, for sure. Not everybody wants to do that. Not everyone is motivated to do that, but the fact that she's willing to do it, it's going to, really plays well for us, and she's going to have a spot on the team. That's very important.
Is there a newcomer? We don't have time to go through everybody person by person, but is there a newcomer maybe that fans should keep an eye out for, that maybe you're expecting to make a pop in her rookie season? Yeah,
I think Joelle Smith. I mean, there are a number of them. Joelle, Amelia, really are going to make a contribution to the team for sure. Joelle's going to be towards the top of the lineup to begin with, and I think probably will end up staying there. And it'll be interesting to watch her progress as the years go on.
How much do you as a coach lean on Allie Schmidt or Maddie or Desiree, at least people who've been in the program and at school for a couple of years? How much do you lean on them to coach, to mentor, to do the things that maybe the head coach can't do?
Right. Yeah. I mean, as far as the coaching part, I don't know how much I lean on them for that. As
Maybe it's
far
more
as
off the court stuff.
Right, exactly. As far as off the court, as far as embracing our culture and showing the kids what are the culture, what's the rules, what are the things that we're doing, the importance of the details, and everything that we do. A lot on that, and then hopefully if I've done my job right, they pass that along the others. And I think again, part of coaching is to make sure that does get passed along. So like you say, the coach doesn't have to work on every little thing, but really a lot, I guess, is the answer to that.
What would be the 2 or 3 tent poles in terms of the culture of the program as you've built it up now in 4 seasons, in essence? What are the hallmarks, would you say?
Well, I would say obviously, being a good student athlete, that warrior spirit, that warrior attitude that we try to instill in the kids would be number one. Second of all, attention to detail. The devil's in the detail. And you have to make sure that you're doing all the little things right for the big things to happen. And I guess the final thing would probably be, everybody's got to get better. We've all got to raise our games and get better, from the 2 coaches, David and I, to everybody on our team. And that's where it's a team effort, and the teamwork comes in.
You mentioned David Stefanik is back as your assistant coach. Talk a little bit about David and how you rely on him and what he brings to the table, and maybe how he even complements your coaching style.
He for sure complements my coaching style. First of all, he's a great guy. Played tennis and D3 tennis for Whitewater, so he obviously is a good tennis player and just loves it. He's not doing it because he needs to do it or anything like that. He just wants to be part of the team, and he just likes coaching and helping kids, and the kids are really drawn to him. I think probably more so than me. I tend to be.
Is it good cop, bad cop?
Exactly right. Well, maybe sometimes.
Maybe
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the badder side. So, but the kids are really drawn to him. They really like him, and that's so much a part of coaching, and we complement each other pretty well, I think.
Well, the reason we're talking to you this week is because the season gets underway Thursday up in Mequon against Concordia, Wisconsin, a conference foe, certainly. You've got a busy first week here. You're going to go Thursday up in Mequon, and then the home opener Friday at Hart Park in Wauwatosa against Elmhurst, and then back at it Saturday up at St. Norbert. Just your thoughts on the schedule, the way it lays out. You've got, about 7 home matches on the slate as it stands right now. Your thoughts there, the way the schedule is put out?
Yeah, well, this is that good year for schedule for us. Every other year is a lot of traveling or very little traveling. So besides St. Norbert's, pretty much everything is here and local. We've got all the further ones are home matches. We start out with the conference champ for the last 2 years, Concordia.
Right into the fire.
Right into the fire. So it'll be a real test. We'll find out exactly where we are as far as ability goes, and then St. Norbert's is supposed to be one of the preseason favorites. They've gotten some good players and good recruits, and that'll be a challenge. But looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun season, and we'll see what happens, right?
Hart Park is a great venue too. Like just in that downtown Wauwatosa area, you can go watch the matches, watch some competitions, go across the street, grab a bite to eat, and just make a day of it.
Absolutely.
And Friday at 12:30, we should mention. So take an early weekend,
right? Exactly.
Early lunch, whatever it might be. Friday 12:30 at Hart Park against Elmhurst. Okay, Jay Massart, in the time-honored tradition of these interviews, I have 5 questions for you. Don't overthink it. The first answer that comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Number 1. What is the one movie you could watch every day and it would never get old?
Gladiator.
Good one. I've seen that one recently. Your favorite food to barbecue or eat barbecued?
Steak.
10 inches of snow or 10 below?
10 inches of snow. Prettier.
Staying on the weather beat here, what weather element do you hate the most?
Cold.
See number 3. Number 5, do you have any superstitions?
No, I don't.
No.
No, I'm not superstitious.
Did you have any as a player or anything like that?
Nothing.
Anything?
No.
Nothing. No superstitions.
Routines, but not superstitions, and that's what we teach the kids. No superstitions. Jimmy Connors had a superstition. He never used to walk on the white lines of a tennis court. So he's always missing the white lines.
But not you?
No, not me.
Wow.
No superstitions.
What's the most important element of your routine? How about that? I'm going to kind of twist the question.
Most important elements of my routine
is
would
there
be
something in the routine?
Organization, and I'd like to get up early. So I'm up early, tackle the day right away.
Early riser.
Early riser.
And the bonus question. What does Coach Jay Massart here offer as advice
Oh boy.
to University of San Diego tennis player Jay Massart if you were coaching yourself then?
Oh boy, that's a good one. If I was coaching myself then, I would use more of what I know now. And I guess it would be, it all kind of takes care of itself. Don't overstress the details. I was a hard worker, very motivated, and thought everything was kind of the end of the world or the most important thing. And I would say probably relax a little bit, Jay.
There you go. Good advice for all of us,
Right.
in athletics or in life.
Right.
All right, women's tennis gets it going Thursday at CUW. You can follow along. You can make the drive to Mequon, certainly. You can follow along at WLCsports.com. Otherwise, as we said, the opener is Friday at Hart Park right here in Wauwatosa, Elmhurst at 12:30. And Jay Massart will be there every step of the way.
Thank you.
Good to catch up
Nice
with you, Jay.
to see you again.
All the best, and thanks for watching, everyone.